Hello, it is I, IR Smart, and as some of you may know, I'm a bit of a gamer. Now, a new game has come out recently, and I've been playing it, Santa Hat, just for holiday spirit. Anyway, beyond the point, Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, that's the new game everyone's talking about, everyone's playing it. And, you may already know, I have an Xbox One. I don't have the new Series X, don't have a PS5, don't have a good enough PC, because you literally need a NASA computer to play that game on PC, so I'm playing it on the Xbox One. And you may have heard that it's pretty bad, and to be honest with you, it kind of is. So today I'm just going to be talking about what my experience has been like playing Cyberpunk on the Xbox One. Because, probably some of you are pretty lucky, we get to play it on, the next gen, but unfortunately nobody has the next gen besides, 5 people, so, and also, it's just been a mess recently because everyone's like, hey, why didn't you guys show console gameplay? You were like, oh, the game works great on consoles. Yeah, it's so good, you remember you get that free next-gen upgrade. So it was kind of weird. There's this whole mess, and now everyone's mad at CG Projekt Red. But I'm just going to be honest with you. I haven't been having that many problems with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just lucky. I have Stormtrooper luck or something. I don't know. I just got blessed with a game that works okay compared to what some people are saying. Some people are talking about how, they can't play the game, it just keeps breaking every time they load it. They have no textures, they have 2 frames per second whenever they try to do anything. But for me, it's been alright. I don't even know. It just works. It just works. So, I got the game, I pre-ordered it and whatnot, I played it, and I'm playing on Xbox One. I haven't gotten very far, I just got past the prologue. So I'm getting now into the actual open world, which I think is where more of the issues happen when you start just wandering around and stuff, and that's what I've noticed. But, so far, the only really issues I've had with it have been, 1, long load times, which I kind of expected, 2, random freezing and crashing. That's just kind of a mess. That's definitely something they could have hopefully fixed, but I guess, with a game this big on old hardware, I guess that makes sense, but still, you're like, hey, look, you can buy this $60 game, it's gonna work fine on your console. You usually expect that, you pay $60 for a game, you expect it to work. You don't expect to pay $60 and be like, oh, sure hope this game works. If it doesn't, well, darn, I guess I lucked out. But, I don't know, I can play it. The game's playable. I can play the game. I can enjoy the game. And I'm going to be honest, I have been enjoying the game. I really do enjoy the game. I really like all the questing you can do. I like the open world you can explore. I guess the world space is just phenomenal. I've barely gotten to explore any of it, but for what I've seen so far, it's very impressive. Unfortunately, it kind of freezes every time I look at it, but whatever. And then with textures disappearing and stuff, only real main issues I had is when a character was like, hey, look at this, and they were holding up nothing, and I was like, what am I supposed to look at? This time was where, I had my characters had, a gun, it was pew, 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 but the gun was invisible. So it was I was just using my willpower to make bullets come out of my invisible hands, so whatever. That was a bit of a weird, there's just been a lot of weird bugs and stuff that happens. But, to be fair, I am kind of used to that. For context, I played Fallout 76 during the beta and release. If you know, you know. That was one of the most buggy, awful experiences ever, because just nothing worked. Textures were just floating all over the sky, stuff would go all crazy, your character would just stop moving or whatever. It was a total mess. The world just kind of didn't work. Fallout 76 was awful on release. But it's much better now. That's the important thing to notice. The game is much better now. Way less issues. There's still an issue here or there, but still, bugs are pretty much gone in the game. There's so much more content to do. That was the other problem, was there was nothing to do in Fallout 6 when it came out. But now there's all these new quests, NPCs, all great stuff. But I'm getting sidetracked. I could talk about Fallout 76 for a while. But another game was Star Wars Battlefront 2 that had a very messy release, where it just came out. It wasn't as much problems with the game, but just the fact that it had microtransactions to actually progress and get better at the game, which is just stupid. And also, they had a system of, well, not a system, but they just had a lack of any more content. It was kind of just alright, here's some modes and some characters you can play as, but that's about it. And it was kind of boring. There was not enough content to do. It was alright, this is boring compared to the last game. But then, over time, they added more updates, until unfortunately they canceled support a couple months ago, which I'm still sad about, because it was becoming a really good game, and I still think it's a good game. I still have fun playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 to this day. So my point with mentioning Fallout 76 and Developer 2 is I'm used to playing games that are bad at release. I've kind of, maybe I just don't, I see a ton of people freaking out, like, oh, outrage, CG Projekt Red, how could you betray us like this? How could you sell us a game that doesn't work? And maybe I guess I'm more docile to that, because I'm just used to it. Like, I've just become accustomed to paying $60 for a game that doesn't work. I don't know, maybe I'm just like that, but it's just kind of weird, because I definitely think they can fix this game. Obviously they can. They've already set out a plan, like, hey, here's a list of big patches, like one in January, one in February, we're just going to keep patching this game to make it as good as we possibly can be on last gen. And there's only so far they can go to make the base Xbox One version work with this very top of the line game, because it's just got so much packed into it. It's this huge world space, very detailed and graphic with a ton of things you can do, and I love that. It's hard to experience when it doesn't work half the time. But at least for me, the parts that I've been able to do, I mean, it hasn't really been. A lot of people saying, "Oh, it's unplayable on consoles." I haven't gotten far in. I'm only like maybe 7, 8-ish hours into the game. I haven't gotten very far because I've been busy and whatnot. But I'm gonna go play it in a bit. So yeah, I feel like it's not bad. It's decent. It's playable. I can play the game. I can enjoy the game. It definitely could be better. I'm not joking, but it's got the structure there. A lot of other games like Fallout 76 and Developer 2, their issue was the structure was bad, and then the other issues were just piled on top of it. The structure of this game is good. The questing, the world space, the story, it's all wonderful. The only problem is it's difficult to experience that because you're sitting through like minute-long load screens to get anywhere, and it's, yeah. Like, that's another thing is, there's a segment in the game where it's a big story beat, and it was pretty cool, but I'm obviously not going to talk spoilers. I'm not really reviewing the game. I'm just talking about how it plays on Xbox One. But besides, there was a point where there was a lot of cutscenes happening, which is kind of just you sit and watch your character. Occasionally you get to say something in some dialogue or whatever. But it's maybe like a 30-second segment. And there was like 10 of these in a row. It was kind of a weird spot, but there was like 10 cutscenes in a row. And between every cutscene was a minute-long load screen of just black. And you kind of just sat there like... Yeah, you just kind of sit there, like nothing's happening. You're not playing. You're just watching a cutscene, and then watching nothing. Like, imagine watching a movie, and between every scene, there's just nothing, and you kind of just have to sit there. Like, that's what it's like, which is just a pain. It's limitations that they have to work around. I get that, but the thing is that it's not very well that they handled it. Because they could have optimized this game more, and if they couldn't, then just be honest about it. Say, hey, this game doesn't perform well on last-gen consoles. But they didn't do that. They made it seem like, oh, it works surprisingly well on last-gen consoles. Which it doesn't, which is weird that they lied about that. So, I don't really know what's going on there, but I just kind of want to get my opinion out there, because I'm hearing a lot of people say, it's literally unplayable on Xbox One, you can't even play this game, it's so awful, don't get it. I'm here to tell you, it's not bad. If you can deal with it like I can deal with this stuff. I got enough patience, I guess, I can wait. In a minute-long load screen to get to some really cool gameplay or a really good story beat. I really like that stuff. I really do enjoy this game. It's just a shame it isn't performing at its best. So, I don't know. My point is, give it a chance. That's what I want to say. Don't just, play like an hour of the game. Get a refund if it's really bad. Apparently it's worse on PS4, from what I've heard, or maybe it's about the same, depending on the person. And obviously for some people it's going to be worse than others. They're going to have more bugs than I've had. I guess I've just been lucky. So maybe I could go down and the entire game could crash or whatever. I've only had a few crashes, is the other thing. It's been decent. But overall my point is, it's okay. It's an okay game on Xbox One. It's not as bad as some people are making it out to be. So that's all I had for you. I just wanted to get my thoughts out on the game. It's a good game. I like it. It definitely needs improvement, but I know they can improve it over time. So maybe you're someone who just waited to see how it was released. I'd say wait a bit longer. Maybe see if they can improve the game more. I don't know how much. There's only so far they can get it to run on Xbox One and PS4. But I think they can do it better than what it is now. So I'd say hold out a bit. Don't just give up on the game now. But yeah, I believe in this game, and I think you should too. So it's a great game. That's all I have to say. I've been IR Smart. You watched my video. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing, leaving a like on the video. All these things help my channel, helps me grow, helps me reach more people, and spread epic Stormtrooper positivity, and goodness, and holiday cheer. So, bye everyone.